You call the Long Point Regional Conservation Authority Board meeting to order at exactly 6. Welcome everyone here. We have a full contingent. We have some special things to do this evening. One being the election, and we'll get to that in a minute. But before we get to that, I should have said already I made a mistake. I'm looking at the owl. This meeting is being recorded and will be put on our YouTube channel at a future date. That is satisfying. Second mistake. Good evening. Can you hear me better now? Okay. The agenda was circulated. Are there any additions to the agenda? Seeing none, what I have was feel comfortable in moving that the agenda be approved. Circulated. Moved by Peter, seconded by Rainey. All those in favor? Motion is carried. The agenda has circulated. There is a provision for the declaration of pecuniary interest. Anyone having one should declare one. Okay, the next thing, my little sheet here is the elections. But before we get to that, I just want to take a few brief moments to thank the board for your support being chair in the past year. It's been a rewarding experience for me. I've enjoyed most of it. I've not made too many mistakes, and the ones that I did, I covered up quite well. I thank the board, and I'm going to thank the staff as well. It's easy to be chairman of a board when the staff is competent and professional, and we have a competent professional staff. And I'd like to thank them for all they've done. I've always been a believer that if you have a good staff, you should let them do what they do best. And that being said, I didn't have to do a hell of a lot to tell you the truth. I'd like to, before closing, thank them for the wonderful gift that they gave me being chairman. It's not often you get a gold Rolex watch. It's not often you get one. Didn't happen. I would like moving on a little cup so you go on. Okay, instead my piece, I'm going to turn the chair over to our elections officer, who needs no introduction. Kim has done this before. And Kim, there you
go. Okay. I declare the positions of chair and vice chair vacant. And I have a motion that the LPRCA Board of Directors appoints Dana McLaughlin as scrutineer for the purposes of electing officers. And can I have a mover for that?
Moved.
Dave, and a seconder? Shelley, and all in favor? And that is carried. Okay, so the election will be conducted in accordance with the Act as follows. A, the elections will be conducted in the following order. Election of chair, who shall be a member of the authority. Election of the vice chair, who shall be a member of the authority. The acting chair shall ask for nominations to each position. Only current members of the authority who are present may vote. Nominations shall be called 3 times and will only require a mover. Closing nominations shall require both a mover and a seconder, and each member nominated shall be asked to accept the nomination. The member must be present to accept the nomination unless the member has advised the secretary treasurer in writing or by email in advance of the election of their willingness to accept the nomination. So with that, and I'm sorry, I'm going to be flipping back and forth between glasses and no glasses because apparently I'm getting to that age. Yeah. The floor is now open for nominations for the 2025 Long Point Region Conservation Authority Chair. Do I have any nominations? Mike?
Madam Chair, I would nominate Dave Barris for this chair.
And second call for nominations. Peter?
I would nominate Robert Chambers.
Okay, thank you. And a third call for nominations? Seeing none. Okay, first, I would like to ask if Mr. Bears will let his name stand.
I would let my name stand, thank you.
And Robert, would you let your name stand?
No, I'm going to step down. I don't want to give back my gold, well, that's why. It's just,
Okay, with that,
but I thank my nominator.
we have a motion that the nominations for the LPRCA chair be closed. And can I have a mover? Chris, and a seconder, please. Rainey, all in favor? That is carried. Oh, sorry, I did that in the wrong order. So I've already messed up as well. So we do have just the one nominee. So Dave Bears is declared the Long Point Region Conservation Authority Chair for 2025. Okay, and then on to our next piece of business here. The floor is now open for nominations to the 2025 Long Point Region Conservation Authority Vice Chair. And again, I will call for nominations for that position. Chris?
I'd like to nominate Doug Brunton, please.
Okay, and second, any second, call for second nominations for that position, Peter?
I would like to nominate Michael Columbus.
Yes, okay, and call, third time, going,
I would like to nominate Rainey Weisler.
Rainey, okay. So, I'm gonna try and do this right this time. We have a motion then that the nominations for LPRCA Vice Chair be closed. Do we have a mover for that? Jim, and a seconder, Tom. All those in favor? It's carried. So now, and I'm sorry, should have brought a pen because my memory is bad already. Mike, will you allow your name to?
I thank my nominator very much. I have had the pleasure of serving as chair and past chair in the past. And I will relinquish that to one of the other people that have been nominated. Thank you, Peter.
Doug,
Yes, I will let my name stand here.
thank you, and Rainey.
Thank you. I will let my name stand.
So with that, I would like to invite each of the candidates to speak for a few minutes. And we will go in alphabetical order. So Mr. Brown, that put you first.
What all I can say is I've served on the board 4 years previous to this, and I've just had an interest in the Conservation Authority. I have a real special interest in all the dams we deal with, of course, but I have a technical background, and I just I guess Conservation Authority is my favorite committee, and I do serve on other committees, but it's something I would like to thank you.
Yes, thank you through the chair. I appreciate the opportunity and thank you, Robert, for the nomination. This is my first term on the Long Point Region Conservation Authority. I'm learning a lot. It's been an excellent opportunity and I am continuing to learn. And so this is just an extension of my interest with the authority. So, and Dave and I work very well together and have in the past, so it would be an honor to work with him as well. So thank you for the opportunity.
Okay, so with that, Dean, can you circulate the blank ballots to members present? And then once the ballots are circulated, write the name of one individual only on the ballot and fold your ballot in half, please. And when it looks like everybody has completed that, Dana will come around and collect the ballots.
Yeah.
Let's hear that. It's Robert's son. We can get copies and no text. It was. I know, I was so surprised with you when you went out. She changed her mind, right? That's what. Yeah.
Don't want to trip over that. But I've had
Thing I've had forever. Yeah.
we have so many.
Step out of the room.
Anyway.
Yeah, well, I can't really have your turn. Yeah, that's what. It's like so much stuff, isn't it? The baby isn't healthy, was. Like a whole.
Yeah, that's really kind of because I was last time.
Sometimes something like.
Well, that's what I thought. Do you want to announce that? So we will have another vote, according to the bylaw, there was a tie vote.
We'll try it again.
Ballots again.
Pressure. Like, we could go share. So just go do it. I don't think that's what time. Is that not in the bylaw?
Just before we do the, in case there's another tie, the bylaw is correct.
Okay, yep. So should there be a tie after the second ballot, a third vote shall be held. Should there be a tie after the third vote, the election of the office shall be decided by a lot drawn by the acting chair.
Okay.
The hat.
So this is the very exciting process in life.
Okay. I came back for one meeting, guys.
Would have went smooth if you weren't here.
All right.
I gotta go get my. Cheers.
Two adults in all the years, my favorite easy,
Right. No pressure.
So, boy, I need you.
No, we're all well. I'm full minute me.
So that's why it's.
So this is.
The day before. And then
That's a thinking. We weren't, yes. Well, that's good. That's good.
So thanks, you've had another tie, so
Oh, my.
would be our third and final vote.
Okay, just do it, man. That's funny.
Are you coming back?
I'd like to request that Dane come every year to be our scrutineer. Funny.
What was that?
You should all put your name.
Then you'd really throw me off, wouldn't you?
Just like.
Stina has to be.
Working towards that.
I'll have to shred those, by the way.
So there's a motion to
Yeah.
have them.
Okay, the chairman.
We'll get you again.
Sure.
Then they do it.
What salt, surely.
I would have wanted to draw.
All the votes are being before my to be. When you go over the kitchen and stuff.
So we do have a vice chair, so Doug Brunton is declared the Long Point Regional Conservation Authority Vice Chair for 2025. And we have, up next, a motion that the ballots for the LPRCA Vice Chair be destroyed. Can we have a mover for that? Shelley and seconder Rainey, all those in favor, and that is carried. And now I would like to call on the Vice Chair to say a few words, the new Vice Chair.
Congratulate all of the counselors and members here today that supported me, and also Rainey, your participation, and I'm sure we can count on your support from here on in. I'm quite confident in that,
Absolutely.
and I look forward to working with Dave. And I've been on a few of the committees, and I really look forward to it. Thank you.
And finally, I would like to call on the new chair to say a few words. That's what.
I thank you very much, and I thank the members for their faith in me, and I won't let you down. I am a governance-driven person, very fortunate to have, as the outgoing chair said, such a good, productive, honorable staff with integrity that we don't have to worry about management, because management is very well done here. It has been in the past. I've been on this board for 15 years, and it's always been that way. We've been very, very fortunate. And I believe it's because we've had good boards who have supported the staff, and it's a good mix. As far as the two candidates, please understand, there are no losers. There are people sometimes that don't win an election for whatever reason it might be, but that doesn't mean to say we have losers. There are no losers in this room. And I'm sure another time when things change, as frequently as they do, most members here, if they have the opportunity, will sit in the chair or vice chair position. As far as conservation is concerned, when I first came in 2010, I used to make fun of tree huggers. And I don't anymore, because I realize how vital and important it is that Mother Nature has provided what she has, or if we're into our creator rather than Mother Nature, we'll talk how our creator has created the world in which we live, and it's up to us as stewards to make sure that we continue with that. And that starts at the top, and that starts with the board, not with the chair, but with the board, and we're at the top for that. The other thing too, I do sit on the Roma Board of Directors, and my term will end up in 2 more years. So if there's anything that the board here would like taken to the Roma Board, I'd be more than happy to do that on your behalf. That conference is coming up, and I think some of you are going to be there. And again, thank you for the nomination and the appointment, and I will do my best to serve this board and Long Point Regional Conservation Authority to the best of my ability with your help. All of you. Thank you.
I will delegate the chair.
I have one final duty to perform, as chair. I guess I'm not chair anymore, but as outgoing chair, I'll call myself, and that is to give all Dana, an appreciation from the for their long service with us.
We earned it this time.
Thanks very much on behalf of the board. Dana, thanks very much, board. And thank you very much, board members. This is my cup. And now Chairman Barris will take the chair. A lot of stuff to carry.
Got everything up here.
Australia. Yes.
You can go.
Over there. Thanks, Dan. We'll invite the vice chair to step forward.
Trump that chair.
And
I'll put your stuff on with the stupid tray. Okay. Oh, no, forgot this dance. Bye, guys. Thank you.
Judy's been.
Yeah.
Yeah, Zach.
Okay, on with the appointments, which are, we all have our agenda, we've all had an opportunity to review it. And we'll ask Judy to walk us through this. We have a list of people for, the various things.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So, on page one of your agenda package, this report is for the financial committee. If you can just start off with the lands committee. Now we had new terms of reference in 2024, so we're looking for one member. And then the committee will be the vice chair and the chair, and also one member. And then if we have an issue and the municipality isn't represented, then you'd be looking to bring that board member in on any issues to the committee, but just look for one name on that. So I don't know if we just want to go through and then.
Should we put this through for election, or is anyone most interested in taking on that role? We'll ask, we'll say Mike Columbus would be interested in that.
So the next one, the next committee is the appointment to the Lee Brown Board.
Excuse me, just prior to that, is there anyone else interested in that position? If not, we'll let Mr. Columbus have that position. Seeing none, we'll go on to the next one then. Thank you.
So the next committee is the Lee Brown Marsh Management Committee. In 2024, the two members was Doug and Mike was the LPRCA chair designate. So that's what happened last year. So we're looking for one member, and then the LPRCA chair is on the Lee Brown Marsh.
Okay, fine. So we're looking for one name from.
Yeah, last year Robert gave up his position.
Right.
However, that would be your call. So normally there is one member in the chair that sits on the Lee Brown.
Fine. Let me ask this question, Doug, are you wanting to take that position back for the Lee Brown Marsh?
I will if you, are you going to not want on that?
I'm just gonna ask Mike Columbus the same question. Would you take it if I didn't?
I certainly would. I really enjoy that.
In that event, Judy, I will take my name off that committee.
Okay, so then the wording will be similar for the motion, which
Be the vice chair.
it's updating. So it'll be Doug Breton, and the LPRCA chair designate will be Mike Columbus. So she'll have that updated for us to read out at the end. Nicole. So the next one is the Bacchus Museum Committee.
I should ask again too, is there anyone else that prepared? Seeing none, okay, we'll go on to the Bacchus.
So Bacchus Museum Committee, we're looking for 3 members, and also the chair sits on that. So Dave, you'll be the chair now, but you're also on the committee last year. We had Rainey and Tom. So we're looking for 3 members besides the chair.
Rainey, would you sit again on that committee?
I'm going to respectfully say no, just because the timing of the meetings was a little difficult.
Very well, thank you, Tom.
Thank you.
I will, Mr. Chair. That leaves 2 openings for that committee. When are the meetings? Yeah. Traditionally, if I can answer, they've been meeting about 4 times a year. When? Usually Monday mornings.
Mondays, 9 o'clock, between 9 and 9:30 on Monday mornings.
Yeah, usually 9:30. Okay. Yeah, I'll try it. Jim? Anyone else interested in that? With one more. Peter? Kim? Rather than put it to a vote, is there anyone else? Seeing none, that would be acclaimed as well. Audit and Finance, Judy?
So the next committee is the Audit and Finance, and we're looking for 3 members, along with the chair and vice chair.
Chair and vice chair have both served on that committee, so, and now we're acclaimed to that committee.
Yes, sure.
Right. So we need 3 members to the Audit and Finance. Robert?
I don't want to be like Douglas MacArthur and fade into oblivion, so I want to get into something.
All right, it sounds good.
Chris?
Chris? Is there a third name? Mike? Anything further? Seeing none?
Yes.
Sorry, last one is Mike. Right, Mike was the
Yes.
last one here. Great.
Could you review them, please?
Yes, please.
We'll be reading them out.
Okay.
I'm going to the motion, so that the LPRCA Board of Directors approves the following appointments for 2025. Mike Columbus and the LPRCA Chair and Vice Chair to Lands Committee. And Doug Brunton and LPRCA Chair Designate Mike Columbus to the Levi Mark Management Committee. And Tom Michelli, Jim Palmer, and Peter Yitma to the LPRCA Chair and the LPRCA Chair to the Bacchus Museum Committee. And Robert Chambers, Chris Van Passen, and Mike Columbus, the LPRCA Chair, the LPRCA Vice Chair to the Audit and Finance Committee.
Refer to the motion. Do you have that motion? I'm sorry.
Navigation.
That was the motion. All moved by. We need a mover for that motion. Shelley Ann, and seconded by Rainey. Further discussion? All in favor? That motion is carried. Thank you. That looks after the appointments. On to the minutes of the previous meeting held December 5th, a little while ago. You've read the minutes. Are there any errors or omissions in the meeting? Seeing none, a mover and a seconder to accept the minutes. And that would be Tom. Seconded by Shelley. Call the question, all in favor? And that will voluntary business arising, there's none. Review of committee minutes, none. Correspondence, nothing. Development application, pages 7 to 11. And I guess, Isabel, are you willing to walk through that, or are you just there for a question today?
It's here for questions.
We read pages 7 to 11. Are there any questions on any of the application? You got off easy. Very well, thank you. Motion to accept. Peter and Chris. And all in favor? And that motion is carried. Good business, extension of minister's direction to not change the fees. Judy.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So on December 12th, we received a notice from Minister of Natural Resources that we were not to change the fees for planning and permitting. They would remain. So what that means for us is we are continuing with the 2022 rates. They were in place for 23, 24, and for the upcoming 2025 year. So the correspondence is attached to the report that came in from Minister Greenstein.
Questions? Comments? Peter.
Question for you, Mr. Chair. So in dollars and cents, how much difference does that make to us for the upcoming year?
So I'll pass it through to the areas.
So Lee and I looked at the budget last year for 2024. We had proposed 250,000 in revenue. Our trend was showing that the number went down. We reduced the budget to 225,000. It's approximately $12,000 to our budget. We felt that that difference would be one subdivision, so it won't impact the 2025 budget, give or take, from one large development.
That answers your question.
Yeah, I presume that the notice from the ministry came with a check to cover the difference.
Chris.
I just wonder what's that's 22, that's 23, and 24, and 25. Or is it, like that's inflation factor is 2%, plus 2% plus 3%, or what are we looking at here?
The compound effect.
Yeah,
So, this past year, we had put in average of 5%, but if we looked at CPI, CPI for this year is about 3%. Last year was 5%, and then the year before was 6%, so
So maybe
It's like
that would be a good thing for
15%.
members to bring to Roma and suggest to the minister exactly what the member, it was, said that, well, if you're not gonna allow us to raise the rates, that 15% we're losing, maybe cut us a check for them.
That's something that could easily go on the agenda. Thank you for that, Tim. Peter.
Yeah, to that end, by default, what that makes us do is download onto the municipalities once again, which this government has shown itself to be quite willing to do. So yeah, I would like to see some sort of communication from this board, go to Conservation Ontario and have them lobby the government on behalf of the authorities that we be made whole for frozen rates, or at least be allowed to increase the rates in the years going forward so that we can keep ahead of inflation.
Conservation Ontario is well aware of the pain. All the members are feeling the same pain that we are. So, but I suppose that could be done, and we could send a letter to Conservation Ontario to support that. You'd have a resolution passed by Conservation Ontario to approach the government to release that. Peter?
Could I further suggest, Mr. Chair, that we forward that letter also to the Premier, Ministry of the Environment, Ministry of Natural Resources,
And Municipal Affairs Ministry.
and probably all of the member municipalities as well. So it could be done through AMO.
That could be drafted by staff. That letter. Very good. Mike?
With Peter's suggestion, should we include it as part of the recommendation? That we do that,
We'll ask Judy that question.
that the item be raised at Roma.
Oh, I see. We could be, yes. Oh,
So I guess there's two questions would, if we're writing on behalf of the board, so that come under the chairs, would be
to Conservation Ontario.
to Conservation Ontario, would come from the chair. Would the board like to see the letter prior to going out?
Peter?
I would trust the chair's judgment on the letter.
Okay,
Is everyone opposed to that?
so we'll work with the chair on that.
Right, very well, thank you.
And then the second piece, though,
Take it to the Roma
to
board.
the Roma, I'm not quite sure
Yeah.
exactly how
That
that
could
would work.
certainly be brought up, but we would have to put that on as an agenda item for a board meeting to come up and then approach the problems on that. But the answer is yes. But I can make sure that's on there, but I don't think you'll see it. No. That will be an agenda item for the conference. Well, we can certainly get it on an upcoming agenda item. So you carry a great deal of weight with AMO, and that's good. So for you had your hand up. Was there something you wanted to comment on? Maybe I could be wrong, but I thought I saw your hand.
No, other than no.
No, okay, thank you. Okay, good. I don't think we did the staff direction. I don't think we need that in the formal machine. We'll have that again.
Mr. Chairman, so I just ask Judy, like, have you heard from other Minnesota or other conservation authorities regarding this? Like, are they all on site? Or are they gonna, are any of them, like, will be a topic of conversation or what? By any other parties, do you think?
I'm not sure. I know that no one obviously likes it, and there's been different letters written over the various years. So, specifically right now, I don't know what people are doing because they're just getting back and delivering probably the same type of report as we are tonight.
Okay,
So I would say in the past, there have been letters written. And I would assume that'd be letters going forward too.
okay.
I will
I
be,
know that Conservation Ontario, they do meet with the ministry, and I know that they were hoping that the freeze would be lifted, so they've already done some lobbying, but obviously it wasn't the direction the minister wanted to go, so we have the freeze.
Yeah.
So
the minister will be, or I'm sorry, the staff people will be there at Roma. And I can, if you haven't met her, I'll introduce you to her. They'll have a booth. Discuss that at the time, just to answer those questions. But Judy's quite correct. There's the 36 conservation authorities who all feel on the same page. But the minister, in their wisdom, decided to put this down. So for another year, to extend another year. And we didn't why. Okay, Robert.
Mr. Chairman, in the letter the minister wrote, the reason for the province doing this is to stimulate they want more housing. And I'm just looking at the applications that we've approved tonight, and none of them are for additional housing. So I'm hoping that the minister realizes that applications that the conservation authorities traditionally approve or process aren't related to housing. They're related to other activities, and those activities should be paying for themselves. I can maybe see a distinction between not increasing the fees for housing, but for tile drains and carports and fishing docks and things like that. I mean, it costs money, and at 2022 prices, we're, as Peter says, the municipalities are picking up the tab, and it's not increasing the housing one little bit.
That could be related the message to the approvals that are done here are not to city housing for new housing project. Okay, anything else on that object or subject? Seeing none, we'll carry on. You want to do a motion for that? Each one of these? Yes. Okay, fine. We'll have a motion then to draft the letter and send it on. Peter, Senator, Shelley, all in favor? And that's carried. Thank you. Fee schedule. Mr. Leduc.
Thank you. So the Conservation Authorities Act and the LPRCA user fee policy requires that when there's an update to the user fees, that it be reviewed and approved by the board of directors. So the 2025 draft budget included a 5% increase to planning and regulation user fees. However, as you just heard from Judy, they've been frozen again, so we have adjusted the fee schedule attached to this report for the board of directors today. Campground user fees have increased on average 3.6%, and all of the other user fee schedules are attached in this report as part of the 2025 draft budget package. Any questions from the board?
Questions? Mike?
Yes, are we in keeping with private user fees in the other comparable operations? Like private ones?
Yes, so
Each private sector, is that what you're asking?
Right, private sector. Like I remember one time we had a huge debate about firewood. Whether we were competitive in the firewood. I don't think you were here that day.
So through the chair, yes, as part of the annual budget package, we puts together a comparison of campgrounds by services and other products through both conservation authority and that's leads us to where we're tracking and taking obviously incorporating our own costs this year.
Little questions to the report. Seeing none, I'd like to see a motion that the board of directors approve the proposed 2025 fee schedules as presented to be in effect as of January 9th, 2025. Mike and Chip. Peter,
I
question.
just had one question on page 30 of the agenda packet. What's a user relocation fee? Is that like from the marsh into your freezer or what?
So Peter Chair, thank you, Peter, for the question. So we actually take these from city centers, and we've been dealing with the same person for quite a few years. And they have a license to do this, so they gather the geese. They're coming over the Toronto area, and they're brought down to the Lee Brown area where it's fenced in. And they usually are brought before they can, like they're during molting season, so they're not flying. So then they stay in the green space, and the idea is to try to relocate them so that to reducing the goose population in the location that they're coming from. So, yeah, so this past year, we got, I want to say about $3,500 that we generated just from taking geese from the one relocator.
Thank you.
Two questions? We got a lot of geese we can relocate out of Simcoe. We have a motion, we have a mover and a seconder, so we'll call the question. All in favor? That's good. Part C, the per diem and mileage, Aaron.
So the authority's administrative bylaw calls for the establishment of per diem, honorarium, and travel expenses for the attendance of board meetings and business functions as a board member. For the last several years, we've presented this report, and per diem honorarium has increased with the COLA, which is indexed for staff at the same rate for the pay grade for staff, which is 3% for 2025. Mileage for members, the travel expense is proposed to increase to 64 cents per kilometer from 6 to 2. And the 2025 budget included $35,012 for director's fees, travel expenses, which the proposed increase was included in the 2025 budget. If there's any questions from the board, I'd be glad to speak.
Questions from the board? Seeing none. We'll have a mover and a seconder to accept the recommendation. Robert, seconded by Jim. Further questions? Being none, all in favor? That's been approved. The final one is the LPRCA budget and levy. Aaron?
So as you know, the board met on November 13th of last year for the 2025 draft budget day. The board supported that staff send out the draft budget to our member municipalities for a 30-day review and comment period, and also notification of the 30-day notice period that the weighted vote would be held tonight. We did not receive any feedback from any of our member municipalities. The operating and consolidated budgets are attached, including the municipal levy portion of it. Agenda pages 37 through 39. Was there any questions from the board?
That's already been reviewed. Those numbers have been reviewed. Do you have any questions or comments on that report? Peter.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, through you to Aaron. Last page, so page 39 of the agenda, CBA, what does that stand for again?
Current value assessment.
Yes, thank you. I scratched my head for a long time on the weekend trying to figure that one out.
Acronyms that governments go together. Absolutely. Thank you. We're looking for a motion. The motion is that the Long Point Region Conservation Authority Board of Directors approves the following recommendations regarding LPRCA's 2025 operating capital budget. Part 1, 2025 operating budget in the total amount of $6,082,265 are requiring the municipal levy operating of $2,237,681 be approved as set out in attachment 1. Second part of this motion is that the 2025 capital budget, the total amount of $808,864 requiring a general municipal levy capital of $157,500 and a municipal special levy capital of $100,000 for Norfolk County be approved as set out in attachment 2. Third part is that the proposed 2025 consolidated budget in the total amount of $6,891,129 and requiring a municipal levy consolidated of $2,495,181 be approved as set out in attachment 2. And the fourth part or final part that the proposed 2024 municipal levy appointment by CVA percentage be approved as set out in attachment 3. Can I have a mover and a seconder for what I just read?
Oh, sorry, this is a weighted vote.
This is a weighted vote.
Yeah, it was my bad.
Okay.
So you have to. You usually call it out. Call the name and then you need to forward. I don't mean.
Go ahead. Yes, that's fine.
Sorry, Mr. Chairman, so, yeah, so clear why it's weighted because of the weights of Norfolk versus other townships. That's why it's weighted, am I correct?
So Ontario regulation, I believe it's 40222, calls for the final budget vote for a conservation authority to be weighted,
Right.
Reported in.
reported and weighted. And the legislation also says that no one member can have greater than 50% vote unless they have 50% of the seats around the table. So Norfolk County has a apportionment of 51%. However, for the recorded vote, it's capped at 50%, and everyone else has been reweighted.
No, that's what I just want to explain. Thank you.
Is everyone clear on that? I think it's pretty obvious. Jim?
So could you explain what the Alderman having only one member? Did they lose their 7.38%?
So, because you have my computer here to do the weighted vote, and the vote will now go down to 92.62%, which will make the new 100. And then if there are yeses and nos, I'll count those out, and then there'll be a percentage there where 50.1% greater will have to approve the budget.
Thank you.
That answers your question?
Yes.
I think it answers all our questions. We all had the same question. So, Nicole, please. Carry on.
So Randy Weisler, municipality of Bayham, and yeah, and also Township of Malahide, you have 2 percentages there. Yes, yes. Robert Chambers, County of Brant,
Yes.
Shelley Ann Bentley, Haldeman County. Yes. Doug Brenton, Norfolk County.
Yes.
Mike Columbus, Norfolk County.
Yes.
Thomas Shelley, Norfolk County.
Yes.
Chris Van Passen, Norfolk County.
Yes.
Jim Palmer, Township of Norwich.
Yes.
Peter Ikema, Township of Southwest Oxford.
Yes.
And Dave Bears, Town of Missouri.
Yes.
That has been approved. Thank you. The administration office renovation, Judy, it is 4042.
Mr. Chair. So, this report, we're looking for support from the board to move forward on securing sure in an office cubicle system from lovers that work in London. And the other part is we're also looking for approval for purchasing flooring and the installation from Private One, Tilsonburg. And also approval for the electrical and data cabling services by Bricks Electric. So just a little bit of information, in the 2024 budget, there was a project in there and the total budget was 208,455. There was 133,455 of prior year capital, and then we topped it up. We asked for another 75,000 because we had gotten one preliminary bid. And we, at that point, realized we were short money to do the full project. So, went out, and got quotes on the furniture. And you can see on page 41, we did have a range of prices. We did do a site visit to lovers that work in London to look at the Takeo Cosmopolitan, which one is the one that we're recommending, which is also the lowest price. It is good and the quality we're happy with, and it is apparently made in Canada. So the furniture portion is 113. We did get 2 quotes on the flooring, and that's replacing the flooring in the center and 5 offices. And it's 33,716. the one that we're recommending. And that would be putting like a luxury, good solid vinyl product in the main area, and then doing more of a plank look in the opposite just to break it up. Those services, the data cabling is just bringing the electrical surface from overhead. And right now, there's a lot of boxes on the ground, which will be eliminated. So there's work to do that cabling, and also at the same time, we need to run our data lines. So the total code on page 42 is so the total is 166,243.21. And with the HST, we're looking at 169,169.09. So that does leave some surplus funds, which is available for any project contingency, or we would ask if there's any other projects we would bring forward for the board's consideration.
Any questions?
Do you have some? Okay. Anyone's interested? Sort of what it's gonna be. So these are all the samples, but so that's sort of the flooring for the offices, the flooring for the main area. And then we picked some very neutral for the cubicle system. That would be like on the inside around the staff's desk, and then this would be more on the outside, and then that's the color of the laminate on the desk. And sort of, we do have some mock-ups if people want to take a look at it, and can pass it along. And what it's going to sort of look like. This is a picture of the front desk area. We're looking to go right over to the wall and have accessibility area there. And then just one entranceway into the office area on the left here. So, and we would just be going back to where we're currently at. So I can pass that around if people want to take a look.
I believe the question is, the people in this room, the board members, do not spend 2,000 hours a year here, so hopefully the staff are agreeable that the color scheme and the comfort level of the photo. It's a long-term project, and it's going to be this way for a long time.
Yeah. Ready to keep it more neutral though with silver sort of accents so that it's not like striking, but it will last test time. So
Right. So I see you followed all the procurement policies about getting the number of bids, et cetera. So
Yeah.
so everything is followed policy wise. Jill.
Thank you. How long is this job gonna take? And where are the people gonna sit in the intro?
So it will probably take from start to finish about 3 weeks. So we will ripple and take everything out ourselves with staff. And then the electrical fellow, he said that he can really start kind of next week running the cables, running the seal and get everything coiled up. And then the flooring will take probably about 5 days because we're going over the old flooring, so it has to have a skim coat and then when installed. So say 4 or 5 days there probably. And then the installation of the furniture, they said they can do it in 3 days, but I'm probably thinking 5 days to be safe. And then the electrical drops would be done after that. So probably a good solid 3 weeks. So, and we're looking, if the board approves this, looking probably in starting like the last couple days in March, possibly having to look at a different configuration for our board meeting in April 2nd. We might have to go to a virtual meeting. And also the town of Tillsonburg would be affected. I would probably need them to move one meeting in April to another location, but I would touch base with Tanya to discuss that. And we go other areas in the building, we, staff would either be in here. We have a room in the basement that some field staff could work out of. We have the library. So we're looking at a plan just to use the space, and also, some staff may work down at Bacchus. That makes sense. So, and we also have, so space them out and, we have a phone system now that as long as they have internet, they can take their hands at the phone. So,
Further questions, Mr. Chairman?
Doug, if I may, Judy or Aaron, do you recover your HST? Like,
That is,
Aaron?
so with the HST, if we're in, user fee areas that, are for profit, say the campgrounds, we get 100% HST back. In the areas that, are government funded and don't use user fees, it's called the public sector body rebate. We get everything back except for 1.76%.
Okay, like, I'm sorry, I'm talking also like on this, you got 2,900 and.
So we get everything back except for 1.76%.
Okay,
that becomes the expense.
okay, thank you.
And that's why your reports quite often will say net HST, which in John Lee. Further question? Tom?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Judy, I noticed that the draft mock-up, the diagram you passed around is from one of the unsuccessful bidders. I'm assuming that the people who did get the bid are going to do something very similar to what they proposed.
Yeah, I'm not sure what name are you referring to?
It's from At Work.
Oh,
The diagrams are from At Work.
so it is at work in London.
Oh, I see. Okay, sorry. I'm looking at other At Works.
Yeah,
Okay, sorry. Okay.
no problem.
Okay, very good. And with regard to that, is there a reason why one of the bidders has two furniture options? Is that because they're able to do that, or are the other bidders, do they only deal in one make or model of furniture?
No, there's other options from the other places, but based on what our requirements were, they just submitted the bid based on now global furniture. They don't have that brand global. Lovers, like Lovers at Work or Jeff's at Work, they carry different, both of them carry different products. Like even WDY and Castor, the Atropex, that's also carried. We did see that in London. So they do have different suppliers, but based on what we required, and we just let them pick. And then we did have the two to compare Taco Cosmopolitan to. So yeah, just one area, one company was much cheaper than the other. So they're all.
And that's kind of what caught my eye, Mr. Chair. There's such a huge difference between the two Taco bids by different At Work companies.
So they're owned, like they're like a franchise, I would say.
Yes,
So their pricing is their pricing, right? They sell the same products, but how they price it is not dictated.
And Mr. Chair, one more through you to staff. Judy, what are we doing with the old furniture?
So, and I did mention in the report, I will go through and assess with staff. There's definitely some stuff that has no value, just will be scrapped. And if we scrap it, we'll put the money in the bank from the scrapyard. If there's anything of value, we'll use government
Gov deals
to put any product on. A lot of our furniture is so dated that I'm not sure there's much value there, but we will try to maximize the dollars the best what we can.
Okay, that's just what I was asking about, just to recoup some value.
Yeah, so definitely try to recoup some stuff, but it becomes, we have limited space and limited time, so we have to be pretty efficient on how we do this.
Okay.
Before, like, when we took over this building, we had so much furniture, this room was full of furniture, and we had the luxury of time to sell it, but those days that we don't have that luxury, so. But we'll make some decisions, we'll probably have a dumpster, a dump truck, and dump trailer, and just figure out where it's gonna go.
Okay, thank you.
And there are other properties around too, you might repurpose
Yeah,
two
we-
different,
We definitely will
campgrounds,
look at
so on.
campgrounds, because we have lunchrooms and staff areas, and we use the more sturdy furniture in those areas, so there's some of the good old furniture that we find that stands up out in the campground, so.
Like,
Yeah, I always find it most valuable to have an in-person meeting rather than Zoom and I just wonder if we can make the ultimate effort to try to get us together on April. Meeting. So can we meet at Bacchus or something? No, something like that.
Definitely, Mr. Chair, we could,
well,
if that's wishes of the board, then we can look at that.
yeah, Peter,
That thought had crossed my mind as well.
yeah, is there anyone opposed? I think we're all on the same page. We had too many years of through the pandemic of electronic meetings, so. That I certainly,
So.
we'll do our best to try and have an in-person meeting.
Perfect.
Even if it's a smaller room, we could, make sure.
I can't fit everybody in my garage. Right?
Well, we do have the Bacchus boardroom, and just have the little bit. Crossover. So I don't think that it would interfere with the school program, so.
Anything further on this, Shelley?
Thank you, through the chair. Just curious if you have like a renovation committee through the staff, is somebody going around and assessing the furniture? Like putting a sticker on it, dispose, keep. That's you? Okay. Thank you.
Well, it's nice to get that face lifted. I'm sure there might be some painting or something involved, some.
Actually, had the. Enoch area painted maybe 3 years ago, and then we painted the offices last Christmas break. So, was it last? Yeah, not this one that just passed, but in 2023. So I think we're pretty good on that, other than we that might need to be touched up.
And it came in under budget, so it's a little bit of flexibility or something.
Yeah, and I
Surprises
think
happen.
an area, if once we get through this project, I would like to maybe refresh the boardroom here with new chairs and looking at just refreshing this room.
Right.
So
Yeah, these chairs are
they've
almost as
seen
old as
better
I am.
days, so yeah, so we'll be getting some pricing on that, and I would bring that back to the
We'll look
board.
at that under the budget.
Yeah,
Right, very well, thank you. Chris,
Thank you, Chairman. It just reminds me so much of home that I chant the mantra for the last 38 years that I'm a man who knows nothing about your interior decorating. Let them do what they want. Just make sure the check don't bounce. That's my.
right? Totally agree. Anything further before I read the motion? Okay, the motion reads, and I'm looking for someone to move this, that the LPRCA Board of Directors approves the purchase of office furniture and an office cubicle system from Lovers at Work in London. And that the LPRCA Board of Directors approve the purchase of flooring and installation of carpet from Carpet One. And the LPRCA Board of Directors approves the electrical and data cabling services by Rick's Electric. Need a mover? Chris and Tom. Further questions? We'll call it all in favor. And that is carried. Thank you for that. Thank you for the report. Very thorough. Good. And the cart couch. The timber, timber, Judy.
thank you, Mr. Chair. So I'm looking for the board to basically accept the report as information, and then authorize myself to award 2 tenders that are closing tomorrow. And the history behind this is we did have the Harris Floyd Lot 4 out on December 9th. with a closing date of January 3rd, so that it could be presented to the board here tonight. However, when staff on December 17th, they went out to freshen up some of the paint, and they just discovered 4 established blue heron. We think they're blue heron nests. So knowing that, you do have some drone pictures that staff went out to take, just with the Migratory Birds Convention Act and the protections around that, we have to put that tender on hold. So we did retract that. And we issued a contract to Blanche Fair. And we're just asking for the board to consider that, so that for timing, because not necessarily will someone want to start, but in case they wanted to start, it gives them more time versus waiting for another board meeting in February, because they only have until March 31st to get in and do the timber and the operation window. So yeah, and we have been in touch with Bird Studies Canada. We'll monitor that with them to see if they actually return. Sometimes these birds don't return. But we have to do monitoring. We have to have the buffers. So that's a process that we're doing on that use track. So
So how would you like the resolution to read?
I think it's should be
Three white Kristen?
just those two.
Okay. Yes. Well, I'll read it as scripted, that the LPRCA Board of Directors accepts the recorded information. And secondly, that the Board of Directors authorize the General Manager to award the following 2 tenders, the LP 361-25 Block 1 and 1.362-25 Block 2 after the closing date of Thursday, January 9th, 2025. Is that understood? The mover, Peter?
Just for clarification, Mr. Chair, then the Tumataki tracks, are they in place of the Harris Floyd tract, or were they in addition to it? So the crux of my question is, are we going to be looking at a lower than expected income for the forestry operations this year because of that?
So they're not really in place of, we just moved them up. So Deb Thane, the forestry supervisor, is looking at the operating plan to see what we can move around. Now, once these close, we'll see the revenue, and then she'll be making some recommendations on how to move things around. We feel that eventually we'll be able to get Harris Floyd into the rotation, but not until we see that. So there will be some movement within the 5-year operating plan.
So I've read the proposed motion. Can I have a mover and a seconder? Mike and Rainey? And we'll call the question on forward. When that's carried. And finally, the one, I guess this is your conservation on Ontario.
No, this came right from the minister.
Oh, okay.
Natural Resources.
That's the local one. Okay, fine.
Well, it came from staff at M&R.
Okay.
So this was an add-on, and Nicole sent out the amended package. So we got notice that, and the correspondence is attached. It came via email from John Dundavel, manager at Conservation Authorities and Natural Hazards with M&R. So they have posted on the government site for an agricultural rep, and there's 10 CAs that there's postings out for, and we are one of them. This happened before, I think it was 2021, but it didn't, there's only about 4 agricultural reps were appointed. And I know we had people indicated they were going to apply in the community. And so we didn't have one awarded then, but now they've brought this back. And before that was with NECP, this is now with M&R. So I wanted to bring it forward to the board because it's a kind of fairly short window. For people to apply if they are interested is February 3rd. So I wanted to share it with the board members, and if there's anybody that you think they have, that would be interested, they have to live within our watershed. And the compensation is from the ministry. And there are some restrictions on, not restrictions, but the duties don't include everything that this board has. One being they don't have a limit for the budget. But all other business, like, so. Anyway, I just wanted to bring that to people's attention, and on your electronic package, if you click on that website, you know where to find the job postings and close it, put the copies here. But you can have an electronic too.
So the question is, do you have someone in mind that has spoke to you about this in the past, or you're just reaching out now to the board members in case they know someone who would like?
Yeah, it's really making people aware. If you know somebody, pass it on. If we're gonna have a member, it'd be nice to somebody that we would endorse. So
Just a member of our board.
yeah, they're gonna become a member of our board, right?
Right.
We don't have a say in who the minister appoints. But obviously. Yeah, it'd be great to have some strong candidates.
So just to be on the clear side, they're looking for 10 representatives, or they send out invitations to 10 conservation authorities?
10 conservation authorities. Potentially could have one agricultural rep.
Per authority,
Each.
per authority.
Yeah.
Okay, right.
So you'll see 10 different postings. But you have to live within that watershed to apply to that. Or to that CA.
And the appointment will be made provincially, not from the.
Yes, provincially,
Thank
yes, and all the rules and all the information's, if you go on the government website, it's all there.
Mike?
Yeah, question. Will this individual have to report back to the Ministry of Natural Resources, or does it report to our board, or, you know, is it something like the police services board where you appoint somebody, gets kind of political?
Yeah, there, it is noted in the information that each December, I think, they are required to do a report back to the ministry and possibly the minister directly on the activities for the year for the authority. So it is a government appointment and they will be responding back to them.
And this appointment is for 4 years, I understand.
Yeah, it says it can be up to 4 years.
Chris?
Mr. Chairman, I wonder if it's possible to send out a quick email with just a link that goes directly to where the application is that I can forward to some potential people that might want to apply, rather than having them search the web and click on something.
Make all people look after them?
Can do that tomorrow.
Good point. Thank you.
I just found it rather ironic, Mr. Chair, that this notice came to the LPRCA where nearly half the board has spent a career in agriculture. Agriculture.
Interesting. I believe we'll find that in a lot of the conservation authorities, unless they're highly urban. Robert?
Mr. Chairman, even more curious, I received a telephone call from one of the constituency offices today asking if I would consider putting my name forward to the Long Point board. And had to break the news to them that I've been a member for 20 years. So the constituency offices are aware of this and they are recruiting. So if we have anybody in mind, get in quick. Otherwise, I'm going to take the position.
Double dip.
Yeah.
Okay,
2 per diems for one.
so I guess we'll put this to a motion that the LPRCA Board of Directors receives a staff report, Conservation Authority Agricultural Sector Representative, and advertisements be posted as information. Mover and seconder, Rainey and Elliott. All in favor? And that motion is carried. So that concludes the general business for tonight's meeting, and we'll now have a motion to move into closed session. Let me just read it as scripted. That the LPRC Board of Directors is now entered in closed session to discuss a trade secret or scientific, technical, commercial, financial, or labor relations information supplied in confidence to the authority, which, if disclosed, could reasonably be expected to prejudice significantly the competitive position or interfere significantly with the contractual or other negotiations of a person, group, or person or organization. Mover, Srini, and all in favor? That's carried. Now we're into closed session. We're back now in open session, and I'm declaring the Conservation Authority, Peter.
Yeah, sure. Just one quick question. I have not been on committee prior. Are those notices sent out the same as our board notices for meetings for various committees of the authority?
The answer is yes.
Okay. Thank you.
And we're trying new basis too. Right. Anything further? Seeing none, we'll declare the meeting closed. Thank you.